Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Nusrat Hamdard and I'm Microsoft 365 expert. Today's topic is managing disk encryption policy for Windows devices with Microsoft Intune. So we will be going through how to encrypt Windows devices through Microsoft Intune. So let's start with what is encryptions. So normally the concept behind encryption is a security technique that protects data by converting it into a coded, it means unreadable form so that only authorized people or systems can read it. Once you encrypt the device or encrypt the data, so it can be decrypted so the person who received the message can be readable. For example, WhatsApp, when we are messaging in WhatsApp or any other platforms, when we send and receive messages, they are end-to-end encrypted. It means when I send a plain text, it is converted to a coded, unreadable form, and then the person who received it, the coded form will be decrypted. It means it will convert back to human readable. In Microsoft Intune, we have two kind of profiles for encryptions. One is BitLocker, the other is PDE, which is personal data encryptions. What exactly this BitLocker profile can do? With the BitLocker profile, we can encrypt the whole volume. We can encrypt the whole disks of the computer. But with the PDE profile, we can just encrypt the files. So if you don't need to encrypt the whole hard drive or the disk, you just go with the PD, personal data encryption. You just encrypt the files or the data you need. Well, before encrypting the device, there is a prerequisites, which is a TPM chip. So this TPM chip is physically installed on computers and it should be enabled in the computer from the BIOS so you can implement this BitLocker scenario. Well, we do have two types, like we can implement this encryption scenario with the Windows devices in two ways. The first way is through endpoint security. It means if you go to the Microsoft Intune portal, there is endpoint security part, and then you can go to the disk encryption and you can create a policy for that, and you then implement the BitLocker concept. And the other way is device configuration profile. It means you should create a configuration profile and then you assign this configuration profile to the endpoint devices. For creating a device configuration profile, you just go to the Microsoft Intune Admin Center and then you select the platform. For example, in this case, Windows. Once you click the Windows platform, like for the first time, you need to just click the devices, then Windows, and then there is configuration profile. Once you click the configuration profile, you just need to create a configuration profile through the template, which is endpoint protection. The other important thing is there are some built-in rules inside Microsoft Intune that the person who is creating a BitLocker profile or an encryption profile for endpoint devices, the person should have help desk operator role, built-in role of Microsoft Intune, and the other one is endpoint security administrator. So these are the built-in rules that have the permissions of like creating an encryption profiles or policy for endpoint users or devices. But if you have the Intune administrator rule assigned from Active Directory or Microsoft Entra ID, it means you have the full permissions to do any kind of tasks inside of Microsoft Intune. But if you don't have that rule assigned, then we do have this built-in rules in Microsoft Intune tenant itself. At the same time, you can create a custom rule which has the permissions of encryptions to create an encryption policies from Microsoft Intune. So we will be going through step by step how to create an encryption policy from endpoint security as well. And at the same time, we will go through device configuration profile as well. So we can check how we gonna make or implement this encryption policy in assigning to a group of users or endpoint devices. Okay, so we are in Microsoft Intune Admin Center right now, and we'll go through the endpoint security first. And here we have disk encryptions. So we will be creating a policy for this one and assigning to the endpoint users. But before that, as we have discussed, that there are two ways of implementing this disk encryptions through Microsoft Intune. The first, like the recommended way is from Microsoft side is this through endpoint security and then disk encryption, and we should create a policy for Windows from here. But the other way as well, we can do it if we go to the devices here, and here I need to click the Windows, and through the configuration, we can create a configuration profile from here by clicking New Policy and then selecting Windows 10 and later, and then Templates. Here we have Endpoint Protections. So from here as well, we can implement this encryption scenarios to our endpoint devices, but this is not a recommended way. If I just click Next, here we have this Microsoft in Windows encryptions. So we do have all the features you can find for Windows encryptions, and you just go ahead and click on require. Encrypt storage card mobiles required. So according to your needs, you can enable and disable all the features from here, and then next and create the policy. So this is the way for through a configuration profile. But right now we are focusing with the recommended way by Microsoft, which is through endpoint security, disk encryption. Okay, so let's create a policy, Windows, and here we have BitLocker and personal data encryption. So first we need to create a BitLocker. As we have explained that the BitLocker is the way that you encrypt the whole disks of the computer. Create. I will give a name. Next. Here we have a complete settings that we need to configure. We have the BitLocker drive encryptions, operating system drives, fixed data drives, and removable data drives. So with the help of BitLockers, if I click this one, we can enable the BitLocker for the endpoint devices, and we can select the method of the encryptions from here, BitLocker drive encryptions. But if you would like to encrypt the specific drives, which you can, for example, you are just encrypting the operating system drives, you can do it from here. You can just enable and all these options from here. And even you can encrypt the fixed data drives, which is other than operating system drive. If you would like to go with this option, you can just select the fixed data drives and configure all this stuff from here. And we do have removable data drives as well. If you would like to encrypt the removable drives, you can just enable from here. But right now, we are going to encrypt the whole volumes. It means all the disks, whether that is operating system, fixed drives. For that, I just need to click on BitLocker. And here, require device encryption, I should be enabled. The second option we have allow warning for other disk encryption. So this option, if you are like enabling these options, it means you are pushing this encryption silently to the end users. So there will be no warning for end user, and it will be pushed in a silent mode. So I just prefer enable this one as well. So we gonna implement this encryption silently to endpoint users. The other thing is configure recovery password rotation. Well, what is this? For example, if you forget the recovery key, then the admin from Microsoft Intune can rotate the recovery key for the end user. That's very simple. Just the admin need to go to the devices, click on the device, and there is an options for password like recovery key rotation. This should be enabled as well. Here we do have like two options: refresh on of intra ID join devices, and it should be with the ID join devices in a hybrid join devices. So normally we should be enabling both of them. Like we should enable this option for both devices, whether that is intra ID join or hybrid join devices. Intra ID join devices, it's those devices that are cloud only devices and joined through Microsoft Intra ID. And the hybrid join devices are those devices that are joined through on-prem infrastructure and sent to the cloud. I'm selecting this one. The other thing is BitLocker Drive encryption. You can select different kind of ways of encryption methods. For example, if I go ahead and enable this one, here we have different kind of encryption method. So I'm not explaining this one here because it's not in the scope of this video, but you're gonna select different kind of encryption method from here. Provide the unique identifiers for your organizations. You can just enable an identifier for your organization. It will be visible on the drives that are encrypted. If you would like to enable this one, you can just put your identifier specifically. I'm not going to enable this one, just make it disable. That's it. Okay, so that's how we can create a policy for BitLocker. If you would like to go ahead with these options, you can just go ahead and you can find information how these options are working. For example, this one. Um, okay, yeah, here. For example, enforce drive encryption type on operating system drives. If you click this one, this will be giving you the full details what exactly this options is doing. And it's the same for the rest. Okay, so we have set all the settings that we need right now. I'm just clicking on next. Scope tags. Right now, I don't have any scope tags in this environment. If you do have, you can just select your own scope tags and apply to this policy. Next, assignment. I have already created a group, the Intune user group that I have right now. So I'm just pushing this policy to this users, Intune users. Next. And this is all set. You can check all this information from here. All good. Then save. Okay. Something wrong. Unable to successfully create. Okay. Let me check why. Mm. I don't see anything wrong here. Okay, let me troubleshoot this one. Okay. I'm not sure. Let me just disable this one. Not configure. Next, 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 and save. No. Okay, so there was a problem and we just fixed it. I'm not sure what was the problem, but I just recreate the same policy again. And I'm just going ahead and clicking on the save button right now. Save. So we have successfully created the policy again. Um, so this is the policy. If I click here, you can see all the details about the policy. You can edit the basics information, which is the name in assignments. And here is the BitLocker configuration that we have done. So we have enabled the BitLocker and pushed to these devices here. Okay, so right now we have created a policy for BitLocker, and let's go ahead with the personal data encryptions. This personal data encryption is they are encrypting the files, not the whole disks. Create. Okay. Next. Here we have these options. You just need to enable personal data encryption for the user, and these are the files that you can encrypt. Protect pictures. Yes, enable. Protect documents. Yes, enable. And protect desktop. So all these files will be protected. Next. And you can select the scopes, which I don't have right now any, and it will be by default. And the same for assignments. In assignments, I need to add a group of users or a group of devices. In this case, I have just one group, which is called Intune user. Select, next, and create. So here we have this policy for personal data encryptions. And it's the same information here. You can edit the configuration settings again as well from here. If I click the edit button, you can just modify the setting from here. Okay, so that's all, I guess, for Windows disk encryptions from Microsoft Intune side. Here I have this Microsoft documentation, which is helpful. You can go through this one as well. Manage BitLocker policy. I'm not sure if I miss any information from here, but you can go through this information, and it's very helpful, and they will provide you the full details information. We have mentioned the silent enable BitLocker on devices, which I showed you that you need to enable this one. Allow warning for other disk encryption should be disabled. What else I would like to show you, which is okay, full disk versus used space only encryptions. This has been done here, and when we are like enabling the encryption for operating system drives. If I go back here and I open the policy from here, for example, okay, editing the configuration. If I go here, operating system drives, here we have enforce, okay, not here. Okay. Enable, and here we have this, if we enable the encryption for operating system drives, here you can find fully encryption or used space only encryption. So you do have these two options. If you would like to full encrypt the whole operating system drives, or you just go ahead with used space only encryptions. We do have this option here. You can do it from here. In the other thing is rotation of the key, which I discussed. For the rotation, you just go to the Microsoft Intune Admin Center, and you need to click on the device. Once you click the device, and you will see all the details of the device information. And in the corner there we have this options, BitLocker key rotations. Once you click here, the BitLocker key will be rotated for the specific device. Okay, so that's all for Windows devices encryptions through Microsoft Intune. I hope it helps you in your daily tasks, or whenever you want to implement this disk encryption on your endpoint devices. So thank you very much for staying till the end of the video. Uh, I would like to just ask if you can just go and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so you can receive the new update videos from my channel.